Hello viewers, I'm SB, and welcome to Into the Breach. The response to the Let's Try for this game was so positive, and I'm having so much fun playing it, that, you know what, despite the fact that we have a lot of other stuff happening on the channel right now, we're just going to go ahead and run this series. I will figure it out, I'll find the time. So, if you want to know how the game works, if you want an explanation of all the mechanics before we get in here, I encourage you to check out the description below, which has a link to the Let's Try video in it. I'm not going to do too much tutorializing here. We're just going to place him into the breach. We are starting a brand new file, though. We're not going to continue on the progress from the Let's Try because I was kind of embarrassed at how poorly I did. And we're going to have an eye toward achievement hunting here. Because, of course, achievements are how you get coins, and coins are how you get more cool robots. Don't worry, AI unit. I'll save humanity. That's what heroism sounds like there. You want a lot of hesitation. You want to sound as uncertain as possible. Because it amps up the drama, you know? Alright, so. We're playing the game with an eye toward achievements. So we have these 5 themed categories of achievements here. Plus 3 achievements with each squad that you can only get while playing as that squad. Each achievement gives us a coin, and then we spend the coins to buy more cool robots. So while we're playing as the Riftwalkers here, we got to focus on drowning 3 enemies in a single battle, killing an enemy 5 or more tiles away with a dash punch, which is one of the upgrades that the combat mech has, and just completing the first island. Obviously, we'll get that done. I'm not going to worry too much about this other stuff. We will accomplish what we accomplish. We'll start thinking about heading for specific achievements and stuff after our first run. I just want to get a victory chalked up. A little confidence booster, you know? So we're going to play on normal for that purpose. And of course our only time traveler is Ralph Carlson. And here we go. What a lot of people don't know is that the present is just above the past, so we drop down out of that ship directly into the past. And here we go, back to Archive Incorporated. You've shown up in the nick of time. The Vec are overrunning our island archive. The old Earth relics here still have some fight in them. They could help us. Apparently, museum curator, not a job that requires a lot of grammar. Look at this comma splice. It's terrible. Alright, I've activated, by the way, large text mode and colorblind mode, because people requested that in the comments of the last video. And let's get going. I'm not too worried about our power grid position. Really, what I want is stars. I want to get rewards at the end of this island to set us up for future islands. So let's defend some satellite launches. We saw this in the Let's Try. This is usually a fairly easy mission type, especially since you can sometimes rely on the satellites to kill a bunch of Vec for you. Alright, so we're starting with a Scion right off the bat, and in case you don't remember, what these guys do is they grant a bonus health to each other enemy. Now, I believe the way this works is when this guy dies, the enemies lose a point of maximum health and a point of current health, not just a point of maximum. So if you get something, if we got one of these to 1 health and then killed this guy, it would kill the other enemy as well. This is a little awkward. I usually like it when the Vec focus on our units rather than buildings, but if we move out of the way of this shot, he will just hit a building anyway. It's a cunning position. So probably what we want to do here is bring our punch mech down and just knock him out of the way. Or we could just tank the hit. That might be better. It's a shame our mech is only has 3 move, because I would really like to stand here and punch this thing to death. Although I guess if I did that, I would knock it back into the rocket, which isn't great. Yeah, let's just deal with the Scion. I don't like having to deal with all this extra health. And we can just have our cannon mech tank a hit here. Let's take a shot. And the artillery mech can just disengage this enemy from the rocket. Okay, that'll do for a first turn. This does mean we're going to have 4 enemies active on this next turn. You'll be a little bit careful. We do also have a whole lot of fire going on. That can be very useful. Alright, this guy choosing not to move is great for us. That's totally suicidal. This is less... everything else that's happening here is less great for us. Because, right, a cannon shot will hit this guy for 1 and then slam him back against the mountain to splatter him. But everything else that's happening here is considerably worse. I don't know that we're going to be able to prevent this damage from occurring. But the satellite will still take off. And it'll actually kill all of these guys when it does so. It doesn't actually matter, though. Most of them will be dead anyway. I think we're gonna allow the satellite rocket to take 1 damage. So I'm gonna punch this guy out so he blocks this spawn and dies. And then... this is actually kind of bad. Okay, I wasn't really thinking ahead enough. The artillery can't deal with this guy on its own. But we can still prevent him from doing damage. So I'm gonna move our tank over here, move the artillery unit over here to intercept the shot, and we'll have the cannon just shoot this guy into our punch mech. He's as good as a mountain. Yeah, we'll just endure a little bit of damage for the good of everyone. And we don't actually have to take this shot. It doesn't help us at all, but why not? That guy's gonna die anyway, but this way at least we get to say we did some damage. I wasn't thinking about the fact that I'm standing in a forest. That's dangerous. So our mech is now on fire with 1 health. But also, we only have 1 living enemy. So I guess we're not really in a tremendous amount of danger. So this guy, I believe, will die if he does not end his turn with the repair action. What I probably want to do is we want to move the tank so that we can have the punch mech come back to this spot and punch this thing. We don't want to punch it from this side because it'll collide with the building and deal building damage. So I'll just move the tank forward, have him repair. We're just going to let all this stuff spawn, unfortunately. That takes you down. We're going to move you forward and also repair. So the repair not only increases our health by 1, but also removes status effects. So we're not even on fire anymore. And now all we have to do to get all of our stars is prevent these guys from dealing 2 damage to the rocket. Okay. Now we will get experience if we manage to make this guy get killed by the rocket. And when you get experience in that way, a way that's not directly reliant on the shot of one of your guys, it just splits the experience evenly over the whole team. I kind of think, and this seems pretty straightforward. We move the artillery to here, and we do this. It pushes this guy out of lethal range. What order do they attack in? He does attack first. Technically, all we have to do to kill this guy is have our tank park here, shoot him once and move him here, and then the other Vec will finish him off. But there's not really a benefit to doing it that way. Unfortunately, the combat mech can't run forward far enough to hit anybody else. Yeah, why don't you just come over here, stand in a fire, you'll be fine, you big baby. Punch that guy down, and then... are you at full health? Okay. You know, we can actually get a kill here. We can get a little bit more XP. By bouncing this guy off of our artillery mech, we reduce his health to 1, and then he'll die to the fire that he is on. The fire that is on him, I guess? We say people are on fire, but really it's usually the case that fire is on people. And then we'll get a little bit of XP for this. Yeah, 1 each. That counts. That's worth something. Okay, easy enough. And we only all almost died. And caught fire multiple times. But all the civilians are alive and we got all of our corporate scrip. Alright, I think we're going to go excavation site and then grab these 2 as our final 2 missions of the area. These volatile Vec don't have the courtesy to simply die. They explode and damage entire regions. drive it away, but whatever you do, don't kill it. So if we don't kill the volatile Vec, we'll get our star, and we gotta protect a coal plant so it can produce power for us. This is our man. He has 3 move, and he's just a normal Vec Scorpion guy in every other way. We just have to not kill him. He does have quite a bit of health. But I suspect we're going to be using the artillery guy to move him around. Okay. So obviously we need to slide this guy to the side, which, like I said, can be done easily enough with the artillery mech without killing him. We can roll the tank forward and shoot this guy so that he only attacks the mountain. And then the combat mech, I guess, just kills this guy? It's better if we move the tank first, so that we don't get any damage from the Hornet slamming into him. And you can just move to here and... Alright, easy enough. Leaves a lot of health of enemies on the table, unfortunately. We'll figure it out. Alright, well, there's our Scion. The webbing is going to be a real problem. It's very annoying. Well, I think this is pretty straightforward. We get to dual block while preventing some damage, and then actually the artillery mech just has to move out of the way. I sequenced this poorly, though. I should have done this part first, because we really want the combat mech to finish off the Scion. We can't hit him from this side or he'll collide with the buildings and deal damage. I have to hit him from up here, which means I'm pushing him into the tank, which means the tank's actually going to take 2 damage here. That's a dumb mistake, but... Oh, it's actually really bad. Hold on. You know what? This is so bad, I'm going to go ahead and use our reset for the battle. No, that wasn't that. SB, use your brain. Well, then maybe we solve this in a different way. What I was thinking was that we could move the mech out and punch this thing before doing the artillery shot so that we don't collide this thing with the building. But the punch can't be before the artillery shot. The artillery shot is what allows the punch to happen. So instead, we end up doing pretty much the same thing we were going to do. We do end up taking a damage on our artillery, and I totally just threw away our restart. That's fine. There are going to be times, I'll just forewarn you a little bit, there are going to be times when I do things that are not great, and then we have to all sit here and suffer the consequences of my foolishness. This is one of those times. It's not the end of the world. You know, sometimes you screw up, sometimes you fail at making a good plan or fail at executing a good plan. And in those times, it's important to just remember to learn from whatever bad decisions you made and figure it out. Do a better job next time. Oh, this is awkward. We're really in a situation here. Because, of course, we can't attack with the artillery mech. He has to move somewhere and repair. That means we have 2 actions for sorting out 3 people dealing building damage, which is to say that we do not succeed at preventing all the building damage. Well, obviously it's important that we protect the coal plant. I think what I'm going to do here is move you out, protect the coal plant, and then move to here, block this building damage, and just slay this guy, so we have 1 less enemy to worry about. And, you know, there's an 18% chance we won't take damage on this. It could happen. Come on, fingers crossed, everybody. Even though this is in the past for you. Aw. Oh well. Not a big deal. Okay, we just have to hope that whatever webbing they do is not too annoying. Alright, well, I would really like to use our artillery mech to push this guy off, but it looks like I might just accept another grid damage. Letting your grid fall early is not such a big deal. You have time to make it back up, and really, like, the stars are so important. So we could use our artillery mech to free the tank. Right, we move to somewhere, we drop a shot right here. It pushes this guy out, and it also pushes this guy down. And then we have the combat mech step forward and punch this guy into that guy, killing them both. And then the tank is free to go and move that guy out of the way. I think that's a good plan. That's good XP for us. We're definitely going to max out Ralph Carlson's level quickly. His bonus XP thing is very valuable. Okay. We managed to keep the coal plant and the volatile Vec alive. There were some other casualties. I'm sure that explosive Vec will be back, but at least nothing was damaged. Yeah, nothing. We should double the blast proofing on all the vaults before it returns. Well, we got an extra point of power back, so that blunted the losses somewhat. And we got +3 grid defense. I cannot honestly say that I think +3 grid defense is a very good bonus. I would have preferred, you know, like a point of movement or something, but this is what we get. Okay, destruction of the dam in this region is a necessary evil. We saw this mission in the Let's Try 2. So we've got to remember that we can break the dam at any time to flood all the squares in front of the dam, which means to drown any enemies that are in those squares. Sorry, any non-flying enemies that are in those squares. Well, we can take care of both of these guys pretty easily by pushing them together and then slamming them into each other. And then I think our artillery mech can just drop a shot here to slide this guy into a position where he's not actually dealing damage to the building. Not taking any damage and dealing with 2/3 of the living enemies seems like a pretty good way to go about things to me. And it leaves both our tank and our combat mech in a position where we can probably deal with the enemies that come out of here. So we just bounce these two guys off of each other. And some good XP for the tank, who could use it. Okay, the Scion, that's not such a bad thing at this point. Especially, yeah, I was gonna say, especially if this guy just moves up into a position that's in front of the dam. Because this might be the turn that we just go and break the dam. Like, I'll stand here, I'll take one shot at this guy, just soften him up a little bit so we can kill him easily next turn. Then we bust the dam. And then once again, artillery just moves this guy. We should probably at some point deal some damage to him, attempt to solve this problem in a more permanent way. Okay, so remember, we can't attack while we're in the water. So unfortunately, that makes this guy kind of a pain to deal with. Because I can't punch him with the combat mech, and I can't shoot him with the cannon mech without knocking him into the buildings. The only way for us to prevent his attack from working is to use the artillery mech to move him to the side, which means that we don't have the artillery mech for dealing with this guy. We could run the combat mech up to punch him, but we're going to punch him into that building. This is not great. Trying to figure out if there's some version of this. No, there definitely isn't. There's nothing I can do to prevent both of these guys from dealing damage. I can prevent either one of them from dealing damage. Well, this is largely a case of just not having enough tools to get the job done properly. I'm going to move here. We're going to go ahead and get rid of the Scion. And I'm just going to kill this guy. That's a shame. You know, I said one of the reasons I wanted to do the first island over again was because I was kind of embarrassed at what a not great job I did the first time. But I am doing a not great job again this time. Alright, well this is easily solved. We just step out of this attack and... bam. They really probably should have rethought what their planet targeting procedure. And we can easily enough just push that guy off. And unfortunately, our combat mech can't really do anything of value. I guess he's doing something of value right now by blocking this shot. You just stay right there and take it on the chin. Yeah, I've taken a lot more grid damage than I would like to take on the first island on normal, but I guess we have to live with what has happened, not what we wish had happened. I'm really not getting very much XP on our artillery mech. We need to be careful about that. Ol Horus here is the only diesel train left on the planet that isn't at the bottom of the ocean, anyway. He's still going strong, carrying vital supplies across the island. We have to defend an old diesel train. Okay, that's fine. So I've done this one. The train will move across the map, and we have to just defend it until it gets out the other side. Ooh, time pod. Okay, I'm pretty excited about free stuff. I don't know what will happen here. Okay, if the train impacts the creature, it will kill both of them, it looks like. Well, that's not great. Obviously, let's make that not happen. It's easy enough to prevent. How do I want to do this? There's a lot of... it's not going to be difficult for us to make this turn work out. I'm just trying to figure out what the best way to do it is. Because I kind of want to shoot this guy back so that he blocks this spawn. Then we could use the artillery, deal with that guy, and combat mech. Yeah, this makes sense. But the combat mech has to hit this guy from this side. We don't want to push him this way, because then he would kill the Hornet before it successfully blocked the spawn. So we're gonna have to take a damage on our combat mech. It's not a big deal. That's the first thing we do is shoot you. I guess... no, never mind. I was about to say we can have the tank just take the damage instead, but I want to get the punch in. I think the punch is a pretty important part of what we're doing here. Alright. By the way, I guess I didn't make this clear. The train goes after all of the enemies. In case you were wondering why I left this guy in a position where he was attacking the tracks, I should have made that more explicit. Okay, how much health do you have? All three? Well, I think it makes a lot of sense for our combat mech to come over here and just punch this guy to death and block the spawn. But if he does that, then he's going to potentially be in a position here where he's absorbing 1 damage from the from the emerge and 1 damage from this guy, which is to say he will die. So we gotta... You only have 1 health, that's right, because I punched you. So we could have the tank roll up and just shoot him, or the artillery roll up and just shoot him. No, it has to be... Sorry, it can be the artillery, but if we're doing it with the artillery, we have to do it now. Sequencing is important. If I move the combat mech in first, the artillery shot will push the combat mech into the train and destroy it. Yeah, so if we just have the artillery do this now, then we're all good. Alright, our combat mech gets a lot of work done. And then we just have to deal with this guy. I don't think it makes any sense to shoot him any direction other than straight backward, and in fact, we don't even really need to move the tank. Obviously, moving him down onto the track would have been a bad idea. Moving him up here so he hits this building would have been bad. I kind of wanted the tank to move down to here and grab the pod, and then go up and hit him, but that seems unwise. Okay, how do we want to deal with this? Well, we just have 1 turn left, so all we have to do is prevent the train from taking any damage this turn. Oh, also, this guy has to not fire here at all, because the pod is there. And our hero can't take any more damage. Or our combat mech, rather. Actually, this is a real problem. I guess we can shoot him with the tank and punch him. Just trying to think about, like, we can't let this guy... I can't just move over here and punch him, because we can't let the combat mech take damage. I can't just move him over. I can't move him this way either, because he'll hit the buildings. But if we just roll the tank to here and shoot him back, that creates room for the combat mech to run to here and finish him off. And then the artillery mech can actually get a kill and get some XP, which is valuable. Alright, and we got our time pod, and we got all of our stars, and we're doing very, very well on reputation. We're going to get a lot of rewards when this island ends. Old Horace made it to his destination without a scratch on him. With most of our past under the sea, it's a great day when we can protect our history from the Vec. We're not even close to leveling up our other party members. And we've recovered this pod, so let's see what's inside. A Vice Fist. Grab a unit and toss it behind you. Okay. And a free reactor core, which is awesome. Reactor cores are always welcome. Alright, here comes the boss. So let's figure out where we want to install this core. Okay, we don't have to spend any power on making this attack available. That's nice. So what do we want to do with the core? We could install a core on here to make... That seems okay. It is often the case that you get enemies clustered around buildings because they're trying to destroy the buildings, obviously. That might be a good move. We could also use this to just secure a point of health or movement on one of the other characters. +1 move on the punch mech is probably worth going for. And then that leaves us with 1 power toward our dash, because we can move the power around. We need to unlock this dash to get one of the achievements. So I think that's probably a good way to do that. Alright, some kind of Vec abomination is approaching our headquarters. Whatever it is, it must be stopped. So if we finish this with both the objectives, we're going to get 9 stars. There's an awful lot of rewards that we get to buy. This is awkward, though. I guess over here? I really like to have the artillery mech sort of able to move across the entire, I guess, what you might call horizontal axis. This guy attacks in the boss Firefly here. Attacks in both directions and does 4 damage when he does so. That's considerable. A lot of damage. So you can move our artillery mech over to here and fire right there, and that'll push him out so that he's not actually doing any damage to anything. We do have to kill him eventually, but right now might not be the moment. Right now we just need to keep him from killing everything else. Oh, we could also just punch mech him. We should probably just punch mech him. Actually, we can use our new judo thing, right? We'll just toss this guy over, and then we have our tank come over here, block a spawn, and put this guy in harm's way. What order do they fire in? Okay, the boss goes first. That's unfortunate. This guy won't also be able to hit the boss. And then you... I don't know. I guess I don't really care about you. Unfortunately, we can't quite get into a position to... what I would really like to do is shoot... I guess if we land a shot right on top of this guy, it'll slam the boss into the wall. Or we could do it the other way around. That's fine. Moves our mech out. Yeah, that doesn't matter. It's okay for our combat mech to move out. You get 1 extra damage set up on the boss. Because he does have quite a bit of health. We have some work to get through here. It is good to see the Vec disposing of each other. That's true. That Liam's a smart guy. Okay. Well, now he's just making bad moves. He's so worried about us that he's started focusing on us instead of the buildings, which means all we have to do is walk out of his path. Is there any good move for Ralph Carlson? I guess is the real question. So I'm thinking we could use the artillery or the tank. No, it's got to be the artillery because we have to be far away from him. Actually, it can't be the artillery. Let me explain what I'm talking about. What I was going to say is we could use the artillery or the tank to move him around a little bit, but we can't actually be in this line. He does enough damage to one-shot any of our mechs. I was hoping that we could punch him this way, then we could move the artillery up here and fire into the mountains, which will shove him down. Actually, that's a pretty good plan, I think. Then we just have to move the tank out of the way. And now he's on fire, so he's actually dead already. He won't die this turn from the fire, but he'll die from it next turn. And as far as I know, the bugs don't have any way of removing status effects. Also, this was dumb. Why did I move to here instead of there? I just decided that my that my artillery mech should take a point of damage. Well, that's not ideal. But I'm just going to move out of the way and repair. We could kill him by moving here and shooting him into the mountain, but I want him to lower the number of Vex on the table first. Okay, and then he'll die from the fire next turn, and as long as we protect the corporate power, the corporate tower, we are, I believe, on a perfect objective run for this island, which is great because you get extra rewards for finishing perfect like that. So, let's see here. Obviously, the artillery mech will be moving out of the line of fire this turn. I won't forget twice. Question is, what else do we do? I think probably we're just going to end up shooting this guy into another space to move him. Free up the cannon mech. And then the cannon mech can finish him off. I kind of want to figure out a version of this that ends with this guy blocking a spawn, but unfortunately I just do too much damage. I could run to here and throw him over my head. Then we'd block 2 spawns, and he would still die from the damage. I would take a point of fire damage and a point of Vec emergence damage, but it would leave us with very few actual enemies left. Yeah, that's not bad. Alright, let's do that. I'm willing to take some damage for the team. And now the artillery mech doesn't actually have to do anything other than move. And in fact has no particular incentive. We could shoot this guy so that he only has 2 health left, which I guess is what I'll do. I'll just move to here and shoot him. There's no tricky version of this where I end up blocking another spawner or anything. Yeah, let's just shoot this guy. Now we can kill him with a single hero punch in case we have to. Right, an emergence is blocked, and an emergence is blocked. We only add one enemy to the table. And hopefully... Yep, this is going very well. Yep, so they all focused on our units instead of on any buildings or anything, which is great. I'm just going to move out of the way and disengage the webbing. He needs to move somewhere and heal, otherwise he's going to die to fire damage at the beginning of the turn. And then there's no way for us to get another kill, so the tank just steps out of the way. Alright, perfect island. I feel pretty good about that. We did end a lot of missions with Living Vec, which is to say that we did not get all of the XP that we could have gotten. Oh, yes, we did in fact earn 9 reputation on this island. There you go, achievements too. Island secure. You accomplished every archive mission, an astounding accomplishment. Ah yeah, there's an achievement for doing that. There's a lot of them. You get them very quickly at the beginning. Please, you and the Riftwalkers accept this as thanks. So when you do that, you get offered a choice of a weapon, or a pilot, or some extra grid power, which I am tempted to take. This blasts all adjacent tiles for 1 damage. It looks like it does not set them on fire, despite the fact that it has a lot of fire in the visual. Or we could take this pilot. So the value in taking a pilot is that, first of all, the pilots that you can get from this have special powers and are better than the default pilots for your 2nd and 3rd mechs. But also, taking him this way would unlock him permanently, so we could choose him to be our time traveler from then on. And that's an okay power. It's not amazing, but it's not bad. It gives you some versatility. I'm going to take him over grid power. And then we're going to replace, I guess, Liam. Liam, you've done some fine work. But you're fired. Actually, the artillery is not the one we want in this position, though. Hold on. Anton will pilot this. And I'm choosing Anton over Liam solely because he has 2 more XP. There we go. Dropping the tank in the middle of the enemy team seems a little bit better. Actually, I wonder if maybe it's even better for him to be the combat mech? Yeah, alright. I'm doing a lot of fiddling here. But actually, I think that might be the case. Now we can drop the combat mech in the middle of the enemy team. Or at least, we'll be able to once we install this. And we can just do that. Alright, let's spend that reputation. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to sell Liam Kaleda to this corporation. You got traded. It's like a baseball thing. And then we have 10 reputation to work with, so... Buildings gain a shield after taking damage. I think we'd be better off just trying to prevent the buildings from taking the damage in the first place. Deploy a tank that can apply acid to targets. I don't know what the ACID acronym stands for, but acid is a... it doesn't do damage, but it debuffs the enemy, so it takes double damage from all sources. So that's not bad. That would be a handy thing to have. Mechs heal 1 damage when they get a killing blow. Ooh. That's a pretty exciting passive. Or the shield array. Applies a shield on nearby tiles. Has 1 use per battle. And we don't have a science mech, so we'd have to pay extra power to equip it. I think I want this. That'll let us keep blocking more efficiently. Maybe we want the acid tank? Or maybe we just want to, like, take 2 reactor cores and 2 grid power? Now, the acid tank is a cool idea. Let's do that, and then take 2 reactor cores, because reactor cores are great. The first thing we're going to do is figure out who should hold this stuff. The tank almost always has important stuff to do. I don't see us being able to spend a lot of turns deploying units. We'll give him the passive. And then we'll give you this thing, but we're not going to power it yet, because it is quite power hungry. It's a fun toy. We'll play with it later. And I think I might just install both of our reactors here and activate Dash and Preemptive Strike. And we'll just pick up Viscera nanobots next time we get a reactor? You know, Preemptive Strike isn't that great. How about this? We'll install a new core. We'll unpower that to power up Dash so that we can use it to, first of all, do cool stuff, and secondly, to get that achievement. And then we'll install a core here and power the Viscera nanobots. I also hope they worked out the kinks with this, because your mechs are about to be crawling with nanobots. Let's hope they do the thing we hope they do. Yeah, that makes sense. You know, we're hoping, because we're hoping. Okay, by completing one island, we've unlocked the next island, and we're 40 minutes into the video. You know what? Let's just do it. Let's just roll. I want to keep playing the game, so don't think for a moment I'm falling for the time traveler stories. But your mechs, they are undeniably impressive. Okay, again, we just want to go pretty hard on stars, although, actually, it might be worth heading this way to try to get the extra power grid this time. Yeah, we could come through here, get 2 stars and a power, then get 2 power, then get 2 stars, and then maybe get 2 stars and a power again. So these are trickier. Any mission that has 3 rewards is a high threat mission, which just, you know, the difficulty is a little higher. But I think we can do this. I have faith in giant robots. This site holds 2 warheads designed by a temporal physicist, Dr. Renfield, utilizing your breach technology. RST was deemed the safest place to test them. So wait, she knows about the breach technology, but she still doesn't believe we're from the future? That seems a little silly. Okay, so we have here an Alpha Firefly. Alpha units are more powerful than their standard counterparts. Ah, his attack does 3 damage. Yeah, that's fairly impressive. We can probably put that to some use for our side, though. That's a shame. If he had just not rushed forward both spaces, we could maybe have gotten him into the water with our judo throw. And unfortunately, he deals enough damage that we can't really... This is bad. So this is one of the things. What is your deal? You charge forward to damage and push the target. Well, if we used our artillery bot... to shoot right here, we'd push this thing out of harm's way, and then this guy would just charge right through. If he stops at the end of the land, he'll block a Vex spawn, and if he doesn't, he'll die. I feel pretty good about that. That seems like a good way to go. Oh, it looks like he's going to charge right through and just die in the water. Awesome. Now we got to figure this situation out. Oh, he's standing in a sand tile. If damage turns into smoke, units in smoke cannot attack or repair. Unfortunately, actually, that's not great for us. He's going to get moved back by any of the attacks we have access to. So we aren't going to be able to smoke him. He's gonna move, and then the smoke's gonna come up. And units that are standing in smoke can't attack, but you can attack through the smoke. It won't like block his shot. We also have this guy over here firing an artillery shot at this tile. That is a real bummer. How do we handle this? We could... this is really awkward, actually. If this mountain wasn't here, we could step in here and judo throw that guy over. I guess, can I throw him into the mountain? Does that do a thing? No, it can't. You can't throw if the destination square is not empty. Well, that's a bummer. And we can't throw him out of harm's way because he's defended from both sides. And we can't kill him because he has 5 health. It's just a lot of health. It's like I could stand here, punch him into this dude, and deal 3 damage to him. And that would actually smoke him out. Because then he would still be in the space. Unfortunately, that leaves us with no way to deal with this guy. How are we going to do this? I wish I had a unit that had more than 3 health that could just tank his shot. I think we're going to take a grid damage here pretty much no matter what I do. I don't know if there's any way to stop it. We could reset the turn. If we do that, I can shoot the artillery shot here, moving this guy up and this guy over, which means the tank could roll through, like, this will be available. The tank could roll to here, shoot this guy to the side, and that doesn't help us, actually. Then he's just destroying one of the bombs. We can move the tank to here, run down, grab the guy, flip him over, and then have the tank shoot him so he ends up in this space firing upward. That doesn't stop us. That doesn't actually get, like, doesn't guarantee we don't take any building damage, unfortunately. Well, if we're taking the damage, no, if we're taking damage from this guy no matter what, I think the plan where I punch this guy is the best of our available plots because it puts so much damage on him. Alright, and then his attack is cancelled by the sand, and unfortunately there's no way for me to affect the other shooter at all. But I can just move to here. His attack is cancelled. If he moves out of the sand, he doesn't wind his attack back up. So we just shoot him back, and now he'll block this spawn and die. And we'll take a building damage. That's a shame, but, I mean, I could not figure out a way not to do it. There was a small chance that we get grid defense. That guy just charges full speed into the water, which I appreciate. Yeah, that's pretty alright. We got another one of these alpha dudes, huh? That is a real bummer. Well, how do we deal with that? If I use the tank to push this guy down, we can have the combat mech come over, punch this guy to move him to here, and then we can fire an artillery shot. It'll push the Alpha Firefly into the water, and it will push the bomb out of this guy's attack. It does mean that we have an awful lot of living enemies on the next turn, though. It's a dangerous position to be in. Living but damaged. I'm gonna do it. So we punch you there. Your artillery shot is now useless. Oh, I do get to block a spawn. Yeah, that makes me feel a little better about this plan. And we were able to get some XP for one of our pilots. Always a good thing. Okay, well, no more super high damage alpha enemies. That's good. So we can't punch from here, remember. We're in the smoke. So actually, this guy's a real danger. We pretty much have to use our artillery to free this thing, I think. So like if we use the tank to move this guy so that our artillery guy is free, we can move the artillery guy down to here, fire a shot on top of this guy's head, which will push this out of range, but it will also push this guy back one, moving his target square to the new spot that the bomb is in. And then I guess we just have to have the combat mech punch him out, just take him out of the equation altogether. Ooh, also, if we use the tank to push this guy, he's going to deal damage to a building. And we can't get our hero over there. We can't get our combat mech over there. This is bad. I can't judo throw this thing safely because it only has 1 health. I could... I mean, the plan as I described it does work. It's just that we have to take a damage, or we have to take a grid damage. It puts us on 1 grid health. I was all talking mess about how easy the game is on the Let's Try, and I'm about to lose on normal. The question is, right now, is a grid health worth a star? It is still the case that we could pull off a perfect island again and get another big reward at the end. If we lose the star, that is no longer true. I think it's worth it. I'm gonna get risky. Oh, this plan doesn't work at all. Because there's no way to get the artillery unit to a spot where it can actually do the shot it needs to do. Well, we could shoot the mountain here. Right, if I stand here and shoot the mountain, we get this at least. And then he comes around and punches this thing like that so that we get an extra point of damage out of the punch. That's not great. Alright, come on, grid defense. Nope. Well, remember, as long as we keep the coal plant alive here, we will get another power at the end of this turn. At the end of this battle. I guess at the end of this turn is the same time. Alright, and immediately everybody's being terrible. So here we see the scion of this world. All other Vec will explode on death, dealing 1 damage to adjacent tiles. Well, that's pretty bad for us. So if we kill this thing, then we can kill this guy safely. If we kill this guy first, he's going to damage a building. So you move the artillery over to here somewhere, drop a shot right there, it'll move him to a place where he's not actually accomplishing anything. The tank could just tank this hit. Unfortunately, this does not allow us to save this thing. And actually, I can't punch this guy. I'm too far out to the side. Man, all that work and we're not going to be able to save both of the bombs anyway. Yeah, there's no version of this that ends with this bomb being saved. Because obviously we can't allow the attack on the building to occur, because we could actually lose the game. Is there a way to use anybody else to save this thing? I think the answer to that is no. Even if he wasn't webbed, he doesn't have a shot. All he can do is shoot it, knocking it into the buildings, and exploding, and yeah. This is actually the only thing that gives us no chance of losing. Bummer, man. Yeah. So we could throw a punch here. Oh, and in fact I have to. I have to prevent this guy from taking his attack. Yep. And then here we just prevent the damage. It doesn't actually matter. What a shame. The chain of explosions, by the way, I had not calculated. I was just thinking the punch and the knockback will kill the one bug, but that turned out to be maybe a little bit more dangerous than I intended. Well, no perfect island for us. Okay, +2 mech XP, +3 grid defense. Not not amazing level ups. The +2 mech HP is pretty good, actually, I guess. Alright, well, we can get some power back, which we desperately need. We shape the weather patterns over the island so our solar farms can harvest sunlight 12 hours a day. But to do that, the farms need to remain standing. I mean, that sounds pretty sensible to me. I don't know a lot about solar power, but that makes sense. I see where she's coming from. This is annoying. He stood in the one spot where I can't push him into the water from any direction. Okay, well, it seems pretty straightforward to knock this guy into the water. I think I'm going to take the artillery over to here and shoot behind him. We'll just tank the 1 damage, and he'll block a spawn for us, which is nice. We can use the tank to solve this problem. Oh, he exploded while he was underwater. I was really not expecting that to deal damage to the building. Man, this is this is not going that well. At least we get to kill that thing. And unfortunately, that was the sequence that had to be in, because we had to get the kill before we could punch the Scion. Well, the good news is there's not very many enemies out. The bad news is that's 4 spawns that we have to be aware of. So I guess I don't actually want to throw a punch, right? We want to shoot this guy from above with the tank so that he's at 1 health and also blocking a spawn. He shoots first. So he can prevent this thing's attack as long as it's at 1 health. And then this guy just goes and stands in the way somewhere. Alright. So he'll attack first, he'll kill the other Vec, and then he'll die himself blocking a spawn. That seems pretty okay to me. There's a kind of poetry in there somewhere. Okay, another one of these chargers and an Alpha Firefly, but they've positioned themselves in deeply foolish locations. I think the first thing we do is knock this guy into the water, right? And then we have the tank run forward, stand here, shoot this guy out. And it has to be the tank who does it, because we can't afford another damage on the artillery. And we have to do that before we move the tank over. And hey, look at that. We got our healing. That's actually, I think that's a very, very good passive. Oh yeah, drown 3 enemies in a single battle. I kind of forgot. And we hit max level with somebody. Things are going alright. Just get back our point of health so that we can lose it again in a second here. And we've actually managed to prevent a lot of enemies from spawning here. So this is what this is supposed to look like when you keep things very under control. Alright, so let's have our punch mech come down here and deal with this guy. And I want to push this guy into the water with the artillery shot rather than the tank shot, because the tank's pilot is max level already. Alright. I don't know, repair yourself. Man, if only they all went that smoothly. Well, except for the part where I got a building damaged through ignorance. If only they all went slightly more smoothly than that. Okay, +1 move. Very useful. So we're in an okay place on power. I think we're going to go through... We go through either Weather Watch or Dust Bowl with the intent of attempting this difficult mission so we can get another power potentially. And it's... I think defending the train sounds easier than doing all that fighting. This maglev track is one of our last remaining supply lines. My people depend on it for supplies, rely on it for supplies even. Without it, say no more. I am here to stop grim situations involving space bugs. That is my entire raison d'etre. Deconstruction countermeasures initiated. That's right, Ghana. We are going to deconstruct some enemies right now. Alright, well this guy's attack could just be ignored. Obviously, we have to get you off the tracks. It's not very difficult to do. I'm wondering if there's... I guess punching makes the most sense. Just deals the most damage. Well, hold on. I was thinking if I had enough move to get over here, we could judo throw this guy to block a spawn. That's fine. To deal with this beetle guy. I don't know if he'll take damage when he rams the mountain. My guess is that he will not. But I do know one thing that would make him take damage. Unfortunately, there's no way for me to stop this guy from dealing some damage to us if I do it this way. That's fine. We can take a little bit of damage. We even have a healing thing. Alright, we better clear him off the tracks. So no, he does not take damage when he runs into the mountain. That's a shame. Okay, so the Alpha Firefly, or the Alpha Scorpion, actually, is not attacking. Okay, yeah, it's just a normal web and stab Scorpion, but does 3 damage. Well... this is the trickiest part here, getting rid of this guy. We could fire directly into him. Yeah. Okay, here's the plan. We'll fire on this guy with the artillery. It'll do 1 damage to him, but more importantly, it will push this guy into this mountain, killing them both. Right? The mountain can only take 2 hits. That will mean there's an open path for the combat mech to run through and grab this guy and judo toss him, or, just get rid of him. Generally get rid of him. And then all we have to do is figure out what I want to do with this guy. Actually, that's not a trivial problem. Oh no, it totally is. He only has 2 health. We just move the tank up here and shoot him and bounce him into the Scorpion. So... yeah, the train can't be moved off the tracks by being pushed. Yeah, this is pretty good. Alright, and then Ralph here. Gets that guy off the tracks in that way by flattening him against them. Okay, I would say this situation is actually very under control. This first mech squad is very straightforward, but pretty powerful. This is a little bit more of a problem. As is the exploding, the potential exploding. If we just push this guy down, then the combat mech can hurl this guy over. We don't actually have to kill anybody. That said, we could kill some people. But I don't want to kill anybody near the train. So yeah, why don't we do this? I have to move the artillery unit out, I guess, because we can't. He can't fire adjacent to himself. I suppose, actually, there's no reason I can't just move this guy up. The train's already past that space. Yeah, and then we take you, and we step you out of the way. And then I'll just tank the hit, I think. Actually, we can kill him. He'll explode into the adjacent spaces, and actually, I think he does it after the knockback, too. So the train is extremely safe. And the Scion won't explode. So when this guy kills him in a second, it'll just be XP for us. It won't blow up and destroy the train. Alright. Listen, You could blame the Vec for the mindless Vec on Vec violence, or you could compliment me on my incredible tactical skills. Okay, she made her choice. Excellent, the train made it through. We live to fight another day. So we get one more. Defend the terraformer, terraform the grassland back to desert, and protect the power generator. Well, this is the only way for us to get more power, and I think we should probably pursue that. Our terraforming technology is one of our best weapons against buried Vec hives. I guess they are actually underground somewhere, aren't they? Alright, I'm going to go all the way back here with the artillery. He really only needs to be able to move in one axis, right? So if we just get him into this back line, that should probably be good enough. These buildings are placed very awkwardly, though. So here's our power generator. Oh, hey, time pod. Okay, so they're trying to kill the terraformer. That's annoying. How does this thing work? It has 0 move, cannot be moved, and it has eradicate all life in front of the terraformer. Okay, so we targeted at one of these spaces and it just obliterates stuff. Well, that's actually very interesting. So if we have our artillery unit here, just push this guy to the side. Yeah, that's pretty alright. And that's how we terraform. Okay, so we gotta fire the terraformer once in each direction on the 4 turns. This should be doable. I think we'll just kill this guy, right? Hit him for 1 and then hit him for 2. That's a pretty good first turn. I feel like we got a lot of work done there. Alright, well, so I can just push this beetle into this space over here, and then we have another little terraforming accident prepared for them. Our worksite has been altered. That's a good gentle way of describing that. So we'll block a spawn over here, and we'll just get the tank ready in position to do some damage. I guess blocking this spawn here means the terraformer is pretty unlikely to be able to do any damage next turn. If we let a Vex spawn over here, we might be able to terraform it away. Yeah, it's fine. It's not worth resetting my turn for. Actually, hold on. Do either of you guys have any damage on you? No. Okay, then there actually is no action worth taking for them. Ah, that's a shame. Neither one of them is going to stand in a place where we can terraform them. Well, I could judo throw one of them into such a space. And all we actually have to do with the tank is move. I could come over here, I could do the toss over, and then we terraform the forward sector. Is there a way that we could get this Firefly into that? I don't think so. Unfortunately, I've moved us in such a way, I've moved our artillery in such a way that it's probably not going to be able to contribute this turn in any way. I guess we could do this. We could fire before I do the throw. You'll fire down here, and at least that'll deal 1 damage to this guy. Move around here. And I mean, now the toss isn't actually relevant anymore, but there's no compelling reason to punch him instead of throwing him, really. And you just, I guess, go block this spawn? I don't want to shoot this guy, because he'll hit our buddy. Yeah, just go block this spawn, I guess. And then we fire the terraformer. Yeah, there's no reason to do anything else. Alright, so we already know the terraformer needs to just fire right here. And I need to do my best to keep these guys from damaging any buildings. Okay, well, I don't think that's going to help you. And this looks pretty easy, though. Oh, this guy is right, he's a charger. Maybe not quite as easy as I was hoping. I guess I can move to here, punch him down. He'll take 2 damage from the initial impact and 1 from the collision, and then the tank comes up and just shoots him. Yeah, the artillery can move this guy by shooting here, and then the terraformer handles the last guy. This seems actually pretty good. The tank gets to pick up the pod. Not that it needed to be picked up. And terraform. The power of science. Okay, for a mission that was warning us of how high its difficulty was, that went really smoothly. Also, how loud are these people cheering that we can hear them in the buildings? That seems a little crazy, actually. Alright, what do we got? We've discovered silica. Mech can act twice if it does not move, and also a reactor core. This is going wonderfully. And we're going to end up having missed only one objective on this island. That's a shame. What do we want to do with this core? Do I want to unlock preemptive strike? Also, do I want to replace one of my pilots? You know, Anton Kim, +3 grid defense isn't really a very good bonus. I don't think I'm going to bother activating double shot, but +2 mech HP is already better than +3 grid defense. So what do I want to do with this power core? You know, I probably want to install it in the artillery mech so that we can work up to having the acid tank available. And for now, I'll just be like, +1 move, or maybe buildings immune so that I can attack directly onto buildings. Yeah, you know what, let's take that. That has some applications. Drawn out by our offensive against the Vec, the Hive leader is assaulting corporate HQ. A Vec monstrosity is assaulting our tower. We have to rely on you this final time to help us. You know, I'd be more inclined to help you if you weren't constantly calling me a liar about all this time travel I'm doing. Alright, so this time we have a Hornet leader. Okay, it attacks over 3 spaces. That's not great. Three tiles in a row for 2 damage each. Ugh. Well, how do we deal with this? What's the best way to deal with this? It is the only one attacking a building. We could just put a shot into the mountain here to move it down. Moving it to the right once won't really help. You know what? If we move it this way, it'll kill this thing. There we go. Now all I have to do is move him. I suppose I should just kill this guy. If we let the other Vec kill it, we'll split the XP over the party, and I don't know if you've been noticing, but some of the XP from the split does get awarded to the guy who's at max level. If I kill him myself, I know that both of the XP go to a place where it's actually useful. And then, I mean, this is easy enough. Alright, well, we're managing to hold it down for now. If we could get out of here without losing a power, that would be really nice. Boy, everybody really, really hates the tank. This is actually pretty bad. Especially since everyone who's attacking the tank will also hit buildings. It's really unfortunate. So what we could do... Actually, this is a pretty good move. I'm going to move this guy back, because I think I'm going to have the combat mech punch this guy up to here, and I don't want to be in this line with him. Oh, I was assuming that the alpha would go early in the turn order, because that's what we've seen so far. You know what? It's possible that it's okay for the tank to take some damage here. So if I just do this, it'll knock him to here. He'll kill this guy instead of hitting that building. I don't fire with the tank, because if I do, then this guy will be gone, and this attack will hit the building. Now, unfortunately, his attack only goes 3 spaces deep, so if I throw him back this way, he won't hit this guy. I probably just want to do the 2 damage. But then again, you know, they all have limited movement. It might be better for him to be over here trying stuff from this side of the map. I'm going to take the chance that it is. We're going to do 1 less damage than I would otherwise do. Yeah, but there's nothing you can do, so you just end the turn. Repairing does not remove the webbed condition, as far as I'm aware, and even if it did, you know, him spending his whole turn not moving to just stand right there probably wouldn't have been helpful. Okay, I kind of forgot about the exploding enemies. That's not great. Ah, boy. This is not going that well. So he needs to get dealt with. We can Vice Fist this guy, and he'll hit the other guy there. Yeah, the problem here is that, like, I just don't have the damage. There's no version of this where this guy dies. And as such, he gets to do 3 damage to a building. There's nothing, I can't stop him. We can move him over. Just take 1 grid damage and not lose the corporate tower, so we still get our star. If I had... No, there's no way. Like, the only thing that would work is moving him down and then this way, and that would actually be at least 3 moves, because we have to get this guy out of the way first. Yeah, alright, we have to do this. This is the only thing that helps. Oh, that's right, there's smoke right there. What am I thinking? So he's in the smoke and his attack is cancelled. And now I think Ralph is going to move to here and shoot him. Just put 2 damage on him. Or maybe I shoot here. Actually, this is probably smarter. Now this guy is very close to dead. I'm a little nervous, though. There's a lot of enemies out right now. I was really hoping this guy was going to move to this space. Okay. This is bad. Part of the problem here is I don't know the order of operations on this healing thing. If I shoot here to kill this guy, will I get the heal before he explodes or after? Or like if I move this artillery up and drop a shot right here. How will that work? We could move the artillery to here. Shoot behind this guy to pull him up into the smoke to cancel his attack. You know what I think I'm going to do? I'm going to take this shot because I want to know how these actions order out. And then if it kills our tank, we can just reset the turn. Oh! Because it killed this guy, it didn't it didn't even do the explosion. I was expecting he dies technically before this one does, so I thought the explosion would still happen. And then, unfortunately, we cannot defend all the buildings. I can just let this guy do his thing, I guess. We definitely can't let this attack happen, because he'll deal 4 grid damage. It will actually kill us. I'm just going to punch him. And then the artillery can deal with this guy the way I described, by pulling him into the smoke cloud. And unfortunately, this just happens. I'm having a tough time with my grid power here. We did also just create a bunch of smoke, which could be useful. Weren't able to kill him, but we got out of there with a pretty okay number of stars. Not the cleanest victory. Alright, let's spend our rep. First things first, Anton Kim, you're going to work for the Corp. You know, he's going to help them reconstruct their defenses. He knows so much about the VAC. So, we can create a small tank to help in combat, a pull tank that pulls targets with a projectile. We can pick up a science class weapon. The teleporter is cool, but since we have no science mechs, we'd have to pay extra power to get it active. I just don't think that's very useful. Or a self-destruct button. Nope, not even a little bit. I think we're buying 2 reactor cores and 1 power because we already have enough. We have enough weapons. We don't have nearly enough power to use all the weapons we have. And we get to end the island at 4 power. That's alright, I guess. Let's figure out what to do with these cores. We do have this double shot ability. And I think what we actually do is... Oh, sorry, this. And then we have this ability to shoot acid tanks now. And then we have 1 more core. What do I do with it? Still haven't used the dash at all. We could preemptive strike him. We could install the power core here, unpower the Viscera nanobots, and just get +1 damage on our cannon. We could add a push to the acid tank. That's probably reasonable. I do love it when shots push. It's almost always a good thing. It's a good thing like 90% of the time. Alright, well, I think that's going to be it for us for today. By completing 2 islands, we've unlocked yet another. And at this point, we could just go to the final mission. However, we're not going to. I want to at the very least complete this before we go, because I want to have all 4 islands unlocked for our future playthroughs. Anyway, that's going to be it for us for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you are as excited about this series as I am, which is a lot. Come back next time. I think we're probably going to finish this run, and then we're going to unlock some cool new squads. And we'll see you then.